Dear friends, thank you so much for joining us again for tonight's new era of work discussion. As we continue to pass through this uncertain times together, my goal each Wednesday is to explore together the many ways our professional life is having to adapt and change, and what that means for us as professionals, business owners, job seekers, but also, of course, educators or even citizens. Tonight, I'd like to welcome Kyriakos Kyriakou, that he's the Solutions Director of Rallington. Together, and that includes you as well as dear friends, we're going to place data security under the microscope and explore how individuals and corporations are adapting to ensure that their data is safe. And another question is, and if it's truly secure, or since nothing bad happened to us so far, are you simply hoping to stay lucky? Now, going through this story, I would like to say also about Kyriakos that he's a young entrepreneur that was born in South Africa with Cypriot roots and a very promising entrepreneur for the years to come. What we will do is that we will go through the element of data security in very simple and practical terms. We're not going to go into technical elements, but we will try to analyze and offer as much value we can. So let's go and welcome Kyriakos. Kyriakos, welcome, Kyriakos. How are you?
Hi, Leonida. I'm good, and you?
I'm good. How's everything going?
Good. Not too bad. I think we're...
What was the impact on your company with this COVID-19 lockdowns and all these things going on? That still we're trying to enter the new normal, as some people named it.
Yeah, we're still getting there. Firstly, thank you for the invite. I've been following your series over the last couple of months. I think you've had speakers from all different industries, different types of people, and the conversations have all been quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
yeah, I would say the last couple of months have been quite interesting for everyone. For us in the technology sector, obviously, with everyone trying to shift very quickly to work from home, remote work, it's been challenging for us. So we've helped quite a lot of companies in a lot of industries to make this quick shift, but trying to do it in the most secure way possible.
Great. Okay, so let's jump into the real stuff. So what is data security? Okay, everybody in Cyprus, I think my opinion is that we have different definitions. What is data security?
Well, it's essentially multiple ways of protecting your data. It can be personal data or company data with some governance and practices and business processes or policies in place to secure either our applications or the platforms we use every day to communicate, or the data that we use on a daily basis.
Okay, and why is it so important to protect this?
So, as we were hearing a lot of issues lately, cybersecurity, I'm sure you can see billboards online. There are multiple sort of threats happening every day, be it on a personal level. So we need to protect ourselves, our companies where we work, and also on the global scale. I mean, cyber threats are becoming a daily issue for many. Mm-hmm. Right? So we've seen personal attacks targeted towards companies, and attacks targeted towards countries even.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as I read recently in an article, governments are investing heavily in cybersecurity departments in the government. Once we have in mind that all the military equipment is computer based. So imagine now if you take over the systems of a foreign country, what damages you can do. Okay, let's separate a bit for the sake of the discussion. How can I take separate it in the element of professional data and personal data? What is the huge difference in these two, and how can I deal with each one?
Look, in a personal capacity, you need to make sure that, I mean, we've all got our data. If we look at the personal side first, our photos that we share, our I don't know, our private documents, be it our passports, copies of important paperwork, and usually we're sharing this, but we need to keep them secure. So obviously, cloud technologies are assisting us to store things online, and we need to take the correct measures. So you need to also protect your personal accounts. All right, so making sure that you have stronger passwords. Don't use the same passwords everywhere. This is a common issue that I see, that people use the same passwords for all their platforms. Obviously, sometimes for convenience, it's good, but in the long run, if someone gets your credentials for one of the applications, then you're most likely to be running around trying to stop someone from accessing all your applications at the same time, usually when it's too late. So we need to take the correct preventative measures for all our data. And obviously, this extends into the home also. Obviously, our kids are using a lot of online platforms for gaming and communications. We need to make sure that our children and families are also protected from threats through the internet.
Okay, now in a corporate level?
At a corporate level, obviously things get a bit more complicated. I mean, a lot of people we speak to feel that, you know, no one will target our company. We're a small company. No one is interested to attack us. However, it's a matter of when, not if anymore. I mean, I've seen this across, and in Cyprus we have quite a lot of incidents with cybersecurity attacks, either ransomware, meaning that they will try and attack your system, encrypt your data, and then request for a certain amount of money, or the latest trend is to ask for a Bitcoin deposit to encrypt your data.
Okay.
So there are a lot of attacks. The targets are anyone across all sectors. Also, GDPR is quite important. So you need to sort of put your governance and policies in place for GDPR purposes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me take you back again to the profession, to the personal data. Can you give us like simple steps how somebody can take care and keep his data safe in a personal level?
Yeah, so highly recommended today. All the platforms that are available, be it Gmail, Outlook, most of them have what we call multi-factor authentication. So having a second level password or PIN number that comes most of the time on an application or an SMS.
Okay.
To know that you're the owner or you're the person that is putting in the password. This is what I say helps 90% of the time to prevent most of the issues.
Okay, great. So this is one advice, right? Now, the element of when we go to the level of companies, how can they take care of their data?
Well, first of all, when we're looking at protecting your company's data, you obviously need to understand where all the data points. All right. So a lot of companies sort of are mostly unstructured in terms of where their data resides. So this could in the office, on a laptop, on a server, on a storage. So you need to understand and try and consolidate all your data points, and then take the correct measures to protect this data.
Okay.
Right. Unfortunately, a lot of times people trying to sort of be more productive, we're maybe sharing documents on our personal Dropbox or OneDrive so we can work at home, since we don't have the right tools to use. And this creates issues in terms of data leaks and securities. So a lot of data leaks are intentional. So it's important to have the right controls in place, where companies have the correct security governance and tools to enable to monitor where data is moving and assist users to work better. So it's not sort of, you're trying to increase productivity. Sometimes when we're looking at security, you don't want to make things more complicated, right? Otherwise, you're going to have reduced productivity. So we need to put the correct tools in place where people are able to work easier in a more secure manner.
Okay. Another thing that is like a huge question that I have is this: after COVID-19 lockdowns and all these things that happened lately, everybody was talking about remote working. Why do people don't give so much attention or so much weight of importance to data security? Because everybody was talking about remote working, all the tools you have to use for communicating, all the tools you need to use for evaluating your people, all the tools you need to use to like communicate, but very few people were talking really about data security. And I don't know, I think it's like underestimated. I don't know if you agree.
I agree, and the challenge was the pace that we needed to make the shift, right?
Okay.
Because yes, I mean the remote work from home has been around for quite a while, right? I mean, maybe not as much as adopted in Cyprus, but in the bigger countries, in the more sort of technology developed, work from home was already there. So I feel in Cyprus we had to make the shift within days, right? Since the lockdown happened, and mostly the infrastructures or companies weren't set up to work remotely. So in order to do this quite fast, a lot of companies were cutting corners, right? Because it obviously takes time to build these policies and put security in place. So unfortunately, a lot of companies had to shift quite quickly. And obviously there were some issues, but things are looking better. I believe a lot of companies currently have realized that remote working actually people become more productive. I mean, I've had a lot of feedback that the productivity actually from working at home increases quite a lot. But I think there needs to be a balance. Right, so you need to have the correct infrastructure and platforms in place where people can communicate from home, from coffee shop, or from work the same way all the time.
Okay. So let me. In the case I'm a business owner, right, and I want to hire you to help me in keeping data safe. What are the steps that you're going to follow to help me understand exactly what I need and then what to apply?
Well, first, obviously, we need to understand how your business is operating today. Okay. Obviously, how you want, or what are the requirements, and how we can achieve this. So there'll be basically an assessment done. Depending on the company size, obviously it might be smaller companies obviously are much easier, where the larger companies you'll have to look at it department by department and sort of map the business requirements to specific technologies.
Okay. And after assessment,
Yeah, after the assessment, of course, comes the deployment of such tools. Now, today we're mostly talking about cloud technologies. I mean, cloud, we've shifted towards the cloud to enable remote working, remote collaboration, securely sharing data between us, and sort of a lot more governance around the data. So, So after the deployment, I feel that one of the most important things that obviously a lot of times is sort of underestimated, or we don't consider, is the adoption of these new tools in the workplace. So we have to build awareness and change the culture within the company of how we collaborate and communicate with each other internally and externally. I see you have a big smile on your face.
The reason I'm laughing is because as a trainer, I see this all the time in different companies. They invest heavily in bringing the best, like cutting edge technology, even if it's for data security or communicator or whatever. And the most important element, the most important stakeholder of the whole formula, that is the human factor, I mean, the human resources of the company, they don't train them. So what happens, all of a sudden we have a tool that is like, can do amazing things, but the usage of this tool is like very poor. And the reason is because people don't feel like, they don't believe in this change. So that's a discussion we had also together. I really believe that if in any change, first of all, there's a huge need of harmonization periods. And that means that people will understand the value of the change that is coming. They will feel ownership over the change. And then they will be able to apply the new policy with the new technological tools. So basically, I think and I hope this is one of the areas that you are a bit sensitive as a company, because majority of times when we talk with people that are like highly experts in technology, they neglect a bit the human factor, how it operates in the whole success formula of using any type of technology. And unfortunately, that's not the case. It's opposite, exactly opposite. Human factor is really important. Okay.
That's why I agree with you, and that's why I believe adoption and awareness is very important. So within the data security, people need to be made aware of the latest threats. Right? It's not just companies deploying security solutions in the perimeter. You need to create awareness amongst the users, your people, to identify where their threats might be, right? Yeah. Because a lot of times threats are quite are targeted. I can give you a scenario. So the company has an online website with their products and their solutions. They have an about us. They have maybe listed 3 or 4 key people within the company, name and surname, with an email address at the bottom. So these type of information, right, is used against you sometimes. So people go onto the website, they understand who is who, and they try and do some impersonation, right? So it's easier to target when they have the email addresses to try and target you. So there's a very common scam that's been running for quite a number of years, and in Cyprus we have quite a number of cases. I mean, if I can recall, last year there were 15, 20 cases a month, right, which is quite high. And we're talking sort of figures of between 50,000 and 500,000 euros that were stolen. All right. So basically, what they're doing is they're basically build the characters or impersonate personnel within the company, and they target them specifically.
Yeah.
So there are the risks in Cyprus are real. Sometimes I feel that we don't take data security importantly because we feel that we might not be a target.
I think people are much more reactive than proactive, and the reason is because it never happened to me. It will never happen, and that's exactly the question I asked also in my introduction. That are we lucky enough until today that nothing happens, or are we really taking care of our data? I mean, it's and to be honest with you, I heard a lot of cases also last year, the same thing that you mentioned. I think it's the same, and some people paid amounts, like huge amounts, to be able to get back their data, because I mean, data today is king. You have data, you have everything about somebody. The way
exactly. I mean, your business is running your data today, and if that is exposed or you lose it, essentially you could close down overnight.
Mm-hmm. And I think data protection and clouding services is not a hype anymore. It's a need.
Yeah, I mean, I've been obviously we've all been listening to a lot of online sessions, trainings. I mean, most of the companies that we work with in the technology space have opened up their trainings and their annual events free to the public, where they were paid. So there's a lot of learning and value out there at the moment. And one of the comments that I heard actually this morning in one of the conferences, if you don't get on the cloud now, you've missed the train. So it's, I mean, we've as a company, we're focused on the cloud for the past 9 years, right? So we're probably one of the first in Cyprus. And I think over the past couple of years, it's really started to take on, because it's not only, there are quite a number of factors and benefits moving to clouds. The economics, so it becomes cheaper. The scalability, so you're able to scale and grow quite fast. Security, there's much more security that you can manage. Of course, there are a lot of concerns about how secure the cloud is, right? And I think it's important sometimes to choose the right tools and to know where your data resides. Sometimes that is overlooked. So you have to choose your cloud providers that are based in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. There are a number of cloud providers with certifications for PCI, different industries. So healthcare, you need to make sure that your cloud provider complies to those. The biggest cloud vendors do. So I think the adoption is going to be faster. And obviously with COVID and remote working from home, it will accelerate even more.
I think COVID-19 had a lot of negative consequences around the world, but has also positive things. And you see that a lot of people and a lot of companies did and took actions that maybe they were discussing and evaluating and analyzing for years. They took them over a week, and it was a matter of surviving. So I think your industry was one of those industries that all of a sudden was like so important to be able to connect all my data in a cloud, so anybody can work with that data from anywhere in the world. And I think, okay, so what do you think is the future of clouding once we're having this discussion, Gerardo?
Look, the future of cloud for sure is there as a platform to modernize business too, right? I think it's very key. So if you're looking to modernize your business today, most of the new tools, which could be productivity tools or tools for remote working, CRM, most of them today are cloud-based, right? So looking at numbers and some surveys that have been done for our region and globally, I mean, from a CEO level, I'm not talking from an IT side. I mean, over 75% of the CEO strategy is to move to cloud technologies.
Okay.
Right, and this is a business need. So the needs for clouds are driven by the business these days.
Okay.
And go ahead.
No, go. Sorry.
I mean, these type of tools can give a business a competitive edge.
Obviously. And one other thing that I always discuss also with some of my clients is that there are some tools that they have all the technological tools you need in one package. I mean, I don't want to give names, but there are companies that they offer all tools needed in one package. Like you purchase one thing and it has everything. It has.
Yeah, I mean, there are a number. So what I've seen quite common is we all use different tools, right? Sometimes they might not be approved by the companies. I'm talking from a common side for means of convenience. Like as I mentioned earlier on in our conversation, I mean, if a company doesn't have the right tools in place, and I'm one of these people that I work from home, I want to get my things done. How do I get my data from my PC at work so I can carry on working at home? I'll put it on my Dropbox. I'll put it on my OneDrive, and then sort of you start to lose control. So yeah, looking at different platforms and trying to consolidate the tools into one package gives you better control for your data security, right? And it helps people be more productive.
Yeah. I think it's very clear what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
Kiragomo, talk us. I would like to take us through like Rallyton, the company that you are the solutions director, right? What are your focus, and why does somebody have to work? Why Rallyton at the end of the day? I know that you don't like this type of discussion, but I would love to hear why to work with you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, it's also right. So, I mean, cloud is our bread and butter. Let's say it's sort of something we're focused on, as I mentioned from the beginning, and something that I'm one of the co-founders. Is something that I've been passionate about. So we're the culture inside the company is we're quite passionate about what we do, and I believe in always putting our customers' needs first, right? So we have built quite a strong brand in the market that we're a trusted cloud solutions provider. I mean, we've had some recognitions over the years from multiple vendors for our commitment to cloud and assisting customers to get to the cloud. Okay. And we're quite agile. We're very agile, and we keep up to date with the latest technologies, right? So certifications, training our people is top priorities, which the benefits go on to the customer.
Okay. Thank you so much, Guillermo. I think it was a very nice discussion, very to the point. I think outcomes were also very important. Obviously, we didn't want to go to the technical part that I know that you're very, very strong and you love talking. But unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to follow the discussion. And by the way, about the comment you made with the password, I think like 99% of people use exactly the same password in all apps. So
that is, I mean, we still have people with a little post-it on their PC with their password or under the keyboard or your date of birth. But yeah, it's very, very common to have passwords the same and family names. But I think in the near future we'll see this changing drastically because passwords will be a thing of the past, right? So if we're moving into facial recognition, app passwords on your phone, where you authenticate on your phone rather than punching in the password, this will become the norm. So you will start seeing all the applications you use today, like Outlook and Gmail, Yahoo, or even your Amazon and your eBay, starting to implement these to avoid this type of issue.
If that is going to make our life easier, I would be a huge fan. But unfortunately, my prediction is that maybe that won't be the case. I mean, the password will go away, but other things will come. Always something new will be like a threat.
Yeah, I mean the threats are always going to be around in different formats. So as we develop, like you said, so are the different types of threats. I mean, they do change. I wouldn't say by the month, by the week. I mean, people keep up because it's their business, right? I mean, we're looking at billions of dollars that are lost every year. So you will always have these type of issues, but I strongly believe there are a lot of steps being taken, and a lot of companies have invested a lot of money to protect our personal data and help us protect our company data. As for the technical discussion, it could be a couple of hours discussion.
I'm sure. But I will have to bring somebody else that can follow that discussion because it's not my expertise, and I'm sure I won't be able to follow you. Or you'll give me the chance to study like for 2-3 months. At least I can follow the discussion.
Look, if anyone does have any questions or concerns, I mean, I'm probably one of the first ones always to answer questions on my social media or contact me directly. I'm always happy to help and advise people where needed.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you, Guillermo. How can somebody find you? Where can somebody find you? Maybe you can give us the website of the company. Maybe you can give us your email, and we can post it also in our Facebook. Can you tell us, like, just now verbally, and then we can write it down too?
Yeah, I'll write it. I mean, my email address is Kyriakos. It's KYRIACOS @Raliton. It's RALLITON.com.
So anybody can contact you. Okay.
So we'll put my details
in the comments.
And I mean, feel free to ask me any question. I'm always happy to help and advise further. If I can't, then I will point you into the right direction.
That's great. Guillermo, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for accepting the invitation. I hope you had a great discussion because I did. I think
I enjoyed it. I hope our audience did, and I didn't get too technical at any point, but I think
you did it. And thank you for that, because that was the aim also of this discussion, to be like short, to the point, without getting into technical terminology, because a lot of people that are watching us, apparently maybe they don't have the knowledge, as I don't have the knowledge around the technical element. Thank you so much, Guillermo, for your time, and for sure we will meet in the near future.
Take care, everyone, and we'll speak soon. Thank you.
Okay. So, dear friends, well, I think that's all we have time for this evening. I want to thank Kyriakos for all the valuable insights. Where can people learn more about Raliton? We will post it in the comments, so you have the email and the website of the company in case anybody of you would like to contact them for more information, or at the end of the day, even collaboration. I also want to thank you for being with us, watching this discussion. If you joined in the middle, don't worry, the complete video will be available for viewing here shortly, so just check back a little later. Meanwhile, I hope you will join us again in September, because this will be our last summer live, and then we'll be back in September with very fascinating subjects to discuss, and very amazing guests that will be on our live to discuss about things that are really interested, and we all have a need to elaborate and put under a microscope. At the same time, I wish you enjoyed the discussion, and the highlights was it's much better to use different passwords in different applications. Second thing is to use multi-factor authentication. That will help you to have your personal data at least much more safer. Third thing is that investing in security means that you're investing in the productivity of your people. And the last thing that is really important is that clouding equals modernizing your business. I wish everyone a very good evening. Thanks again, and see you all very soon in September. Have a nice summer. Bye.